Hey, you guys, on today's show, we're going to be talking about how Huzzah, the hostages have been released, and only Donald Trump could have gotten this done, much to the chagrin of every single Democrat on planet Earth. Then we're going to talk about how the Democrats shut down, what's really going on behind the scenes, and what they really think of you. Spoiler alert, it's not good. And then finally, we're going to talk about that fat-ass Tish James, who just got indicted, and how this could possibly just be the appetizer. The appetizer at Chili's, Tish James. So stick around for all that today on the Angela Box Show.
Hello, my name is Angela Box.
Okay, I just want to give a quick just like technological issue I continue to have. If you have been wondering why the hell sometimes my videos are blurry and they go in and out, it's because we have the worst internet on planet Earth here. Okay, like the worst. The building we're in is I can't even get into how many times the internet goes out. So even when my computer is plugged into the landline, it still can look a little blurry sometimes. So that's why. Okay, I'm not stupid. It's the technology. It is what it is. All right, but let's get into this show. So, okay, the hostages were released on Monday. And when we all woke up on Monday, Trump had already spoken at the Knesset in Israel. And he basically said, this is the most, amazing day because these poor people who never forget what they did on October 7th. Let's remind the world, because we've got a lot of dumbasses out there who ride and die for the, quote, Palestinians. You know, the Palestinians who 80% of them voted for Hamas to rule them. Hamas, a literal terrorist organization. The Palestinians who are basically all inbred were like, yeah, those are the people we want. Like, are you kidding me? Like, enough with this propaganda. Hamas, who embeds with civilians, so Israel has to go and get them with the civilians, and the civilians get killed too. Like, spare me your bullshit propaganda, okay? I'm not here for it. Anyway, as we all woke up on Monday morning, we all remembered what happened on October 7th. At least I do. I remember when people were out at a music festival and they were parachuting in Hamas people, and they just started murdering people, again, up close and personal. And you know who loved that? You know who thought that was the coolest thing ever? Is like one of the heads of BM, aka Black Lives Matter. Never forget the tweet they put out. They were like, cool day. Like the most detestable human beings on planet Earth. And I keep saying, all you people who want to kill the Jews and think that Jews are scum of the earth, it's like, have we not seen this movie before? Like, I seem to remember World War II, but whatever. It's like, I don't get it. And I've said this, I don't get it. But anyway, back to October 7th. On October 7th, there were hundreds of hostages that were taken. And Israel has a bunch of Palestinian hostages that are not widows and orphans, I assure you. Okay, most of them are Hamas supporting lunatics. 7th century cave dwelling piece of shit. Okay, because Israel does not, capture random Palestinians. They just don't. They don't capture civilians. They capture people who are out on the battlefield. All right. So anyway, Israel's got like 2,500 of their hostages, and Hamas had 20 Israeli hostages. And of course, there were like 100 hostages that they had before, but only 20 of them survived. Only 20. And not one single woman is among them. You know why? Because Hamas probably brutally raped them and did horrible things to their bodies. That's probably why there's no living female hostages. But don't tell that to Harry Sisson. No, don't tell that to Harry Sisson, the Brain Trust, one of the quote influencers that get paid by the DNC, and they literally all say the same thing. In fact, I'm gonna let's drop that clip. Someone found this hilarious thing of Harry Sisson and some other loser leftist influencer, like literally saying the same thing. Roll the clip.
Trump is now calling for Kamala Harris to be prosecuted and thrown in jail. In a new statement on Truth Social, Donald Trump said, "I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election, and the fact that they admit to paying probably illegally $11 million to singer Beyonce for endorsement."
So, Do you guys believe in propaganda yet? I knew these guys, Harry Sisson and Aaron Parnas, were getting a script, but the DNC, like the Democrats, they're not smarter than this. If there's any agency out there paying influencers on the left, they need to do a better job. And I'm not saying they're getting paid from anyone. I'm just saying that I would hate for an agency that's paying money to do this bad of a job, putting out material that's so clearly prop. I gotta be honest with you, it's like I've never even heard of an offer to make money on doing something this simple. So the guy just sends a text message and it just goes out to a bunch of people. They put it up and then they just read it and do a video. What kind of money's involved? I'm not saying any here, I'm just saying somewhere. What kind of money's involved somewhere?
Okay, so Harry Sisson was like, I'm glad. Well, what'd he say? Here's what he said. I mean, this is where it's like, that these people, the DNC is not paying you enough. Like, let's just keep it 100. They're seriously not, because you sound retarded. Okay, here's what he said. I'm glad all the hostages are home. I hope lasting peace remains in the Middle East and the Palestinian people live free. Also, Joe Biden brought home 83% of the hostages and negotiated a ceasefire before leaving office. Bullshit. Most of those hostages were killed. And anyone, I'm sorry, I don't remember Joe Biden facilitating the release of any hostages. In fact, I remember him going to Israel and being like, you need to capitulate. You need to give up more land, Israel. You need to give Palestine everything it wants. That's what I remember. And Trump basically flipped the script and showed everyone how to negotiate with terrorists. You tell the terrorists, we're gonna destroy you. We're gonna blow you back into the 7th century where you want to live. Okay, we're going to do you a solid and blow you back there so you can live with all your virgins and your goats that you like to have sex with and the children you like to groom. Like, that's where we're going to send you. And you know what Hamas said? Oh, whoops. Because they realized this man is serious. All right. This man is not effing around. This man is going to give Israel the green light to just basically go completely nuclear on us. So when the hostages were released, there was one in particular who I thought of, and that was, I don't know his name. I'm not going to try and get it off the top of my head, but I am going to set this up for you. So last week, Greta Thunberg, with the Lord Farquaad haircut, she's basically going to have to go back to her original grift, the climate goblin grift, instead of the Palestinian goblin grift that she's been doing, the flotillas. The party boats to Gaza that didn't have any humanitarian aid on it, just a bunch of booze and food for the people that were on the boat, and they were just partying it up. And then Israel's like, you're not coming in and we're deporting you to Greece. And she's like, meh. Well, after she gets deported to, again, it's weird, like and lying about what Israel did to her, the propaganda put out that they made her kiss the flag of Israel and they did unspeakable things to Greta, just lies. Not a scratch on this little heifer to be seen. Anyway, she decided, it'd be great. You know what I should do? As I'm being deported to Greece, even though I don't know why she would want to stay in Israel, but she wanted to stay in Israel, I guess for the clicks. But Israel's like, get the F out of here. Goodbye. And goodbye the rest of you losers that were on your little party boat. So Greta said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put out a tweet because I still got a grift. Greta's got a grift. And she put out a tweet that basically was lamenting the poor Palestinian hostages. And again, not the widows and orphans. More than likely, 99% of them are probably actual terrorists. All the poor Palestinian hostages that Israel's holding, and aren't they terrible? And then she shows a picture of this young man. And it wasn't a picture of a Palestinian hostage that was starving. It was a picture of an Israeli hostage that was starving. And that young man was released on Monday. And President Trump over in the Knesset had a hero's welcome greeting. And, it just goes to show you that the Nobel Peace Prize that was awarded last week to a random Venezuelan lady, last name of Machado, I believe. And what's funny on that, and let me go into this a little bit before we get back to the hostages being released. Last week, the Nobel Prize Committee a more relevant group of leftists I have not seen in a very long time. Remember, this is the same group of losers who were like, let's give the Nobel Peace Prize to Barack Obama, the first black president, because he's black. He didn't do anything. He just got elected. So, I guess like Obama said, the sea levels are going to shrink and world peace is going to break out in the world because of me. Okay. The narcissism. Anyway, Obama drop more bombs than I think even George W. Bush did. And, Trump's over here starting zero wars. But anyway, I digress. But the peacemaker, the one who wants world peace, is the fascist. Okay. Anyway, so the Nobel Peace Prize Committee was like, I know that Trump stopped 8 wars, like some of them were 30 years long, and he's getting ready to stop the Ukrainian war and the Israeli and Palestinian war, but sure, let's give it to some random Venezuelan lady. And here's the rub. Here's the irony, the chef's kiss irony. This lady was like, I'm actually pro-freedom, and I'm actually against Maduro, who you people like, who you people low-key support, because you people low-key support Marxists, and Maduro's a Marxist. You support Cuba, what's going on there. You support what's going on with Zohran Mamdani in New York City. You support China. You support all the communist states and all the communist satellite states. Okay, so let's keep it 100. So it's hilarious that they give it to this lady who is like totally on the right. And she comes out and she's like, this is ridiculous. I dedicate my award to Donald Trump because he's the one who deserves it.
And they decided to dedicate it to President Trump because he deserves it. Because not only has he been involved in only a few months in solving 8 wars, but his actions have been decisive to have Venezuela now at a threshold of freedom after 26 years of tyranny that have destroyed the lives of millions of Venezuela, destabilized the region, and undermined the institutions in the United States, because having Venezuela as a safe haven of the enemies of the United States and using our territory and our resources to hurt the American people and American institutions is certainly a threat to the national security of the United States and the security of the hemisphere. But President Trump has been very clear, courageous in terms of dismantling this criminal structure. And on behalf of the Venezuelan people, I reaffirmed our gratitude and our commitment to this cause for the whole America. So I insist he deserves it.
Slow clap, Ms. Machada. And, congratulations on your work that you're doing in Venezuela, because, little did these losers know their TDS is so through the roof that they gave it to a Trump allied person, just not Trump. Anyway, let's get back to the hostages. So 20 hostages have been released, and Israel is now facilitating the release of a bunch of 7th century cave dwellers to back to their people. And there's a 20-point plan in place. The ceasefire is holding, at least right now. And I think Hamas realizes, again, if they don't stick to this thing to the letter, like, it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts. Like, they're done. Okay. And now the Abraham Accords are going to be signed throughout the Middle East. And even Trump was yesterday in the Knesset was like saying to Iran, do you want to join the 21st century? Aren't you tired of being isolated? Aren't you tired of your people absolutely hating you? Iranian people, rise up, get rid of these mullahs once and for all. Okay. Be free. And that's what I think we're going to start to see. And then he said, and we're going to be rebuilding the Middle East, and it's going to be gorgeous. It's going to look like it did before you freak Islamists took power all throughout the Middle East. It's going to be fantastic. So I think if anyone can do it, it's Donald Trump. And certainly Benjamin Netanyahu is thanking Donald Trump. And Netanyahu they're trying to do to Netanyahu what they did to Trump over here, trying to indict him and all this stuff. And Trump's like, we should pardon Netanyahu because without him, this wouldn't be happening. And I just think it's fantastic. It's wonderful. And I'm so grateful that the hostages are now home. Thank you to Donald Trump. And the hostages certainly know who to thank. It's not Joe Biden. Here, just a reminder, here are some of the people that Joe Biden got killed with his feckless negotiating tactics, even though Anthony Blinken wants to pretend that he's some, statesman, craftsman genius. Yeah, right. The Abbey Gate debacle at Afghanistan, these people are just, they're not serious people, and they're pieces of shit. But, you know, the media will carry their water, and little twinks like Harry Sisson will be like, but it was Joe Biden that did it. Like, whatever. And look, even Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert had to go, yeah, credit where credit is due. I think we got to thank Trump for this. But to bring it back to Obama, the guy who may or may not have smoked crack in the back of a limo with a gay gentleman named Larry Sinclair and done perhaps pleasured said Larry Sinclair. Anyway, Obama couldn't bring himself to thank Trump. And basically was like, you know, I mean, it's good to have him back, but, you know, whatever. Whatevs. Couldn't thank Trump. Like, he just sucks. Anyway, that's where I'm going to leave that topic. So we'll be right back. Do you want to be a glowing goddess like yours truly? And I say that self-deprecatingly, but I also say that with the knowledge that I'm blah years old, and I've decided not to age. Like, it's not for me. And my husband's the same way. We're just deciding we're not aging. And so when I started buying this balm, this miracle balm from Froya Organics, and I believe I saw it on Instagram. It was one of those situations like Instagram made me buy it. And thank you, Instagram. Okay. Because I bought this, not really having that high of expectations. Yes, I looked at the testimonials, and they have many, many, many testimonials. And I looked at the before and afters, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty impressive. This is good stuff. I should hop on this. And I'm so glad I did, you guys, because after wearing it about a couple of weeks, my husband, who doesn't notice stuff like this, like he puts the skincare on that I give him, and he's actually happy that for the first time in his life, he's using skincare. And it's funny because, on a side note, like, what is it about guys that you don't have skin? Like, you don't want to like keep care of your skin, but whatever. More and more men are taking care of their skin, and that's a good thing. Anyway, a couple weeks into wearing this Froya balm, my husband goes, your skin looks like it's glowing. And I was like, really? I said, well, it's because of the Froya balm. He goes, well, I want some too. So now we both get our own Froya delivered every 2 months. And it is a miracle balm, I tell you. Now, when I reached out to them, I said, I need to be an ambassador for this stuff because I use it and I love it. And so they gave me a promo code. And if you use the promo code Angela Bach Show, you will get $15 off your first order. Some people want to do the anti-aging kit at the beginning, and that's what I did at first. But I'll keep it 100 with y'all because I always do. I just get the day and night balm. That's what I use. I put all my serums on. I put my eye cream on. And then I put my Froya on. And then I put my moisturizer, sunscreen, all that. I mean, there's like 10 steps of my skincare. But in theory, they say you can just use the balm. But I have extremely dry skin, so I need more things. But it's absolutely fantastic. Now, they do have a 60-day money-back guarantee. And admittedly, they make you jump through hoops for it. Because they're like, listen, we don't buy this nonsense that it didn't work for you. So here's what you have to do. They're like, take a picture, your before picture, use the stuff for 60 days, and then take another picture. And then we'll determine if we'll give you your money back. But if we can see actual results, you're not getting your money back, which I'm kind of low-key here for, because they're like, look, we really believe in our stuff, and we don't think you're going to return it. And you're not going to return it, you guys. I promise. So again, FroyaOrganics.com/Angela Bach Show will get you $15 off your first order. Do it today. I forgot to add something when it comes to the hostages. So one Alyssa Farah Griffin, who sold her soul to be on TV, she worked for Donald Trump. And when The View came calling, she was like, what do I need to do? Oh, take a shit on Donald Trump and get a shot in my arm, get a COVID vax, like sign me up. So this heifer has been on The View for a few years. And she said, you know, famously, and actually let me roll the clip of what Trump said that she said she would do. Roll the clip.
My point when I say I'm not going to be apocalyptic, it's not changing a tune. It's not making every single thing a 5-alarm fire. Yeah. If he does good, if he gets the Israeli hostages out, I promise I will wear a MAGA hat for one day on the show and say, thank you for doing it. Yeah. She'll knock it right off my head. But like you have to be able to cheer for wins when they happen and then call out relentlessly the wrongdoing.
So he basically said, this heifer said that if I freed the hostages, she would wear a MAGA hat live on TV. Did she? No. So like all people who have sacrificed their souls to Satan. She doesn't have a whole lot of integrity. Okay, but now let's talk about the shutdown, because the Schumer shutdown has now entered its third week, and the Democrats think that the longer they keep this going, it's going to be better and better for them, and that people are going to get mad and whatever. Well, Trump has let it be known that he's going to make sure that our troops continue to get paid, and there's going to be programs that are going to be funded, like women, infants, and children. That's going to continue to be funded. I don't know if the troops being funded is going to include ICE, but it should. But I got news for these people. Like, the Democrats are low-key doing this for a couple of reasons. They want illegal aliens healthcare. They want all their pet projects to be funded and their ridiculous money laundering schemes to continue. We know all these things. But they also want it to be a situation where ICE is just completely demoralized, and that they'll take their dollies and go home and stop arresting illegals. And the ICE agents and Border Patrol are like, no, we're not going to. And the more you do, the more it makes us bound and determined to round them all up. Now, here's something kind of interesting. So Mike Johnson came out a couple days ago and basically said that they are threatening to keep the shutdown going until they can have their little No Kings protest. Another one. Yes, you're like, why does that sound familiar? Oh, because they did it before. Whatever. Another stupid nationwide protest that is being funded by the same NGOs and the same leftist groups that are funding Antifa and funding all these protesters to attack ICE, like the worst people in the world. So they're going to have another little No Kings protest. And Mike Johnson's like, yeah, that's basically what they're holding out for. Aren't they amazing? Aren't you so glad to support Democrats? And speaking of Democrats, Elizabeth Warren, who I always imagine is just like hyperventilating. Like every time I hear this lady, she sounds like she's about to have a coronary, like literally have a coronary. And so she had this funny tweet. I'm going to try and read it in the manner of an Elizabeth Warren. Okay. Elizabeth Warren said this. Because of Republicans' massive healthcare cuts, millions of American families will see their premiums skyrocket. That could mean have to choose between paying for healthcare or for electricity. That's how dire our healthcare crisis is. That's why Democrats are not giving up. And it's like, hang on a minute. I thought Obamacare fixed everything. What do you mean to tell me that the system that you set up to fail, which is all Obamacare was set up to do, because they wanted a single payer system and they thought Obamacare is going to completely implode because people are not going to be able to afford this, and people haven't been able to afford it, and only 11 million people are even on Obamacare. Like, get the F out of here, heifer. So Mike Johnson replied, and he said this. Number one, Obamacare was created and passed entirely by Democrats. Number two, since Obamacare took effect, health insurance premiums have skyrocketed. Number three, the Obamacare COVID-era subsidies were also passed entirely by Democrats and set to expire at the end of this year, which Republicans were willing to extend those subsidies for one more year so they could work everything out. Democrats don't want to do that because they want the show. They want the shutdown show, and they want to pretend that it's all Republicans' fault. Now, Margaret Brennan over at CBS News had a moment of journalism, had a modicum of journalism just for about 3 seconds when she had who was it? I can't remember. I'm going to roll the clip for you. But she had some dirtbag Democrat on, and she was like, "Didn't you guys say this when Republicans were doing shutdown stuff?" Roll the clip.
You have been critical in the past of the tactic of choosing to shut down the government. You were in 2018. You were back in 2013 when it was a discussion over health care. This is what you said in 2018.
The future of the American healthcare system was a legitimate public policy issue, as is the security of our borders. But we shouldn't be having the discussion amidst a government shutdown, trying to use our nation's security and all of these federal workers and the work that they do as hostages.
Aren't you doing today exactly what you were criticizing then?
No.
So yeah, the Democrats, they're not going to win this. In fact, I imagine they're going to have to come back with their tails between their legs, but not before they go and party in Napa Valley with a bunch of rich donors who are funding this like little getaway retreat for them in Napa Valley. Like, this is how much they hate you guys. This is how much they hate you. They're still getting paid. Keep that in mind. They're getting paid. They want illegal aliens to have health care, and they want people to suffer. Okay. They said that basically, absent planes falling out of the sky, that they're not going to end the shutdown. It's like, okay, cool. Because guess what? The longer this goes on, the more people Trump can fire. So the bureaucrats that Trump has been trying to drain from the swamp for these many years are now getting drained. And when we reach day 61, he can really start the firings. So here are the Trump administration's says 7 agencies began rifts today. Rifts are reduction in force. Commerce, 315 employees. Education, 466 employees. Energy, 187 employees. HHS, 1,100 to 1,200 employees. Oh, you know that Kennedy was like, get them out of here. HUD, 442 employees. DHS, 176. And Treasury, aka the IRS, 1,446 employees. So once we reach day 61, which, keep threatening us with a good time, Democrats. Once we reach day 61, like, the swamp can really be drained. And if you understand that 95% of DC bureaucrats like donate to Democrats, you understand that this is a deep and wide swamp. Okay. Let me say that again. 95% of the donations from DC employees in the DC swamp go to Democrats. So yeah, we started getting rid of a few of those people. That wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. We'll be right back. Let me tell you guys about my friends over at New Frontier Creative. I've told you about Becky and Kevin before, but it bears repeating. And I'm going to sing their praises from the rooftops. Now, years ago, during the COVID madness and the mask madness, there was a group in Houston called Houston Unmuzzled. And I was asked to come speak at a rally there. And I get to the rally and I see the t-shirts they created and I see the logo. And I was like, these are really, really good. Like, I work in politics. Like, who did this graphic? Who did this logo? Like, I figured it was like some, house in New York or LA. It looked that good. And this very sweet girl said, oh, that was me. I did that. And her name was Becky Blaylock. And I was like, oh, girl, I need to be working with you. She did my total revamp of my website. She did my logos. She did when I was working in politics, she did all the logos in the mail for the PACs I was working for and for candidates we were working for, or working with. Like, she did everything. And y'all, her and her husband as a team are even more powerful because Kevin, her husband, does all the video work, and they will come set up your space for you. If you're a content creator like me, they will come set up your space and make it look amazing because y'all, it was sad. I used to have an ISIS bride black backdrop for many, many years where I did my videos and my lights were like right here. And it was crazy. It was not cute. And Becky was like, let me help you. And she did, you guys. And her and Kevin, like I said, are just, they're phenomenally talented. That's the first and foremost thing you need to know. They're phenomenally talented. Plus they have very fair prices, very competitive prices, and they're patriots, you guys. And so if we want to create a MAGA economy and work with people who don't hate our guts, this is the stuff we need to be doing. So if you're in the Houston area, if you're 2 hours within the Houston area, they will drive and set up your space for you. But even if you're not in the Houston area, you can still use them to do your website or your content creation or your reels or your uploads to social media, which let me tell you is a nightmare situation to do uploads. And they're like, sure, we'll do that. They'll do anything you need them to do. So if you go to newfrontiercreative.com and tell them that Angela Box sent you, you're going to get 15% off your entire order. So just bundle everything together, like get it all done in one fell swoop. Again, that's newfrontiercreative.com. Ask for Becky or Kevin and tell them that Angela sent you. You won't regret it. Okay, finally, that fat ass Tish James got indicted. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Not really, but a girl can dream. Let's keep it 100. Like all the whole situation that we've got with these indictments they're so, like, with the Comey indictment or with Tish James and probably Adam Schiff coming up and hopefully a lot of other people, the indictments are such that it's so cut and dry. It's so obvious that they did these things. They broke the law, and here's how they broke the law. It's so bad that liberal and leftist grand juries are like, I mean, we have to indict them. They broke the law. That's how bad it is. However, here's the situation is that all these people are going to be seen by Obama judges or Biden judges. So who the hell knows? Like, as I mentioned last week, Comey's case, if he gets it dismissed, he's going to take such a victory lap. I can't even tell you. But if we can get to discovery with this and we can find out what these people have really done to, that'll be great. Now, with Tish James, who, remember Tish James, her entire reason for running for Attorney General of New York, she said, I'm going to get Donald Trump. I'm gonna indict Donald Trump. And the people of New York are like, yay, we don't care about crime. We don't care about illegals. We want you to just get Trump. Like, that's how, like, brain dead we're dealing with Democrats in New York. Anyway, so she did. She ran on that platform and she won, and she starts, going after him with some serious lawfare. And the case that she brought against Trump was the one where it was, the whole thing that, he undervalued Mar-a-Lago and he didn't repay the loan or something stupid. And when all the banks were there, like going, yeah, he did. He repaid it early and we didn't have any issue with him. And what do you mean Mar-a-Lago was only valued at $18 million? Huh? Like, what are you talking about? Not undervalued, overvalued. And Trump's like, this is literally insane. Okay. Because you look at any property around Mar-a-Lago and it's similarly priced, and Trump's is way bigger than these people. Anyway, of course, this judge, I can see his ugly face. I can't think of who it was, but he assigned, the jury found him guilty because the left-wing jury in New York found him guilty, and he did all these things, even though there was no evidence. They charged him $450 million that was eventually thrown out, but Tish James got to take her victory lap and probably made a McDonald's run or 7 and thought she was in the clear. Well, she's not, because she is now indicted for mortgage fraud. And of course, there's people that told us that when Trump had some mortgage, if Trump misrepresented things on a mortgage application, why, that was the end of the world. But Tish James doing it, it's not a big deal. Let's roll that clip.
Representing our respective states, stand up and enforce the rule of law. The president of these United States is not above the law.
No matter how rich, powerful, or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules.
Please sue him for us.
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the
And now the Trump Justice Department may be a pain in her you-know-what. The Angle has obtained shocking allegations leveled by the Trump administration against New York Attorney General Tish James. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has sent a criminal referral to the DOJ accusing James of mortgage fraud. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Director Bill Pulte says James appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms. He cited a property in Virginia that she's allegedly claimed as her principal residence and a property in New York that she claimed as a 4-unit structure instead of the required, instead of a 5, which Pulte says means she was able to get a different type.
In fact, Tish James basically said in a tweet, Trump, nobody's above the law. And if you lie on your mortgage payments, like you're cheating the American people and you should be held accountable. It's like, well, I'm glad you said so, Tish James, because if you want to tell me that as a lawyer, you don't know how to read a contract, but yet you're Attorney General of the state of New York, like, spare me. Like, I realize she is a DEI hire, 100%. Okay. So she may not be able to read a contract, but maybe that's going to be her defense. She's like, I'm dumb. Like, I only got into law school because I'm Black and a woman. I have a fat ass. Like, that's the only reason I got into law school. But actually, I don't know how to read contracts. So make me not guilty. Like, I don't know what her defense is going to be because, again, it's black and white. She lied. She said a primary residence wasn't. It was like a whole thing. Well, Tish James has let it be known that she's not going down without a fight, and she is not going to capitulate. So she was at Zohran Mamdani's little rally the other day, and Zohran Mamdani is getting ready to cruise to victory in New York City as mayor. And, you want to watch New York City completely implode? Listen, if you're a business, get out while you can. If you're a family, get out while you can, because it's going to suck to be in New York City. But she had a little speech. She's like, I'm not going to capitulate to Donald Trump. It's like, all right, sis, do what you got to do, but you're going to lose. Roll that clip.
See powerful voices trying to silence truth and punish dissent, and yes, weaponize justice for political gain. And I will not bow. I will not break. I will not bend. I will not capitulate. I will not give in. I will not give up.
You know, I say she's going to lose, but who the hell knows? Like I said, they've got Obama judges, Biden judges. The whole judiciary needs to be, needs to be defogged, deroached, whatever you want to say, and put some decent judges in there. So we'll see what happens with all that. But in the meantime, they're all going to be wrapped up in legal bills. So that's fun, because never forget what they did to Donald Trump and his associates for the last 10 years. Just tried to destroy people's lives and have them all flip on him, and like offering them the world, they would only flip. And they're like, we don't have anything on him. And I wouldn't do that anyway, except for Michael Cohen, who's completely disgraced. But whatever, I am a big believer in karma. I am. I believe that God wins, and I believe that he will not be mocked forever. And dirtbags like Letitia James, her fat ass should be in jail. And hopefully with some justice, there will be. And hopefully she ain't the last one. All right, that is where I'm going to leave today's video. Please let me know what you think down below. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the things, and I'll see you in the next video. I will be done. Bye.